This video will teach you about area model 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication. So the first step in using an area model is to first make the area model, which is just a rectangle. Then since we're doing two digits, I know that I need to have two columns on both sides. So I have two columns here and two rows here. I'm going to take my 78 and I'm going to decompose it. When I do that, I see I have 7 tenths, which is 70, and 8 ones, which is just 8 ones. And I'm going to write 78 up on the top. Then I look at my other two-digit number and I have 56. So I'm going to decompose that. I've got 5 tenths and 6 ones. So I'm going to write 5 tenths, which is 50, plus 6 ones. And I'll be multiplying 56 times 78. So I'm going to start here. I have 50 times 70. And I know 5 times 7 is 35. But I've got 2 tens, and 2 tens is 100. So I need to shift my 35 over by 2 place values, which means I have 3,500. Then I'm going to do 5 times 8, 50 times 8. And I have 5 times 8 is 40. And then I have a 10 here, so I have to put another 0 for my place value. This is where it gets tricky when we come to this bottom row. A lot of students get confused on what we're multiplying where. So to keep myself on track, I'm going to just label what digits go where. So I know all of these two columns have to have 70 in them. If this one has 70, this one has to have 70. These two columns have to have 8. So we're multiplying by 8. So these have to have 70, these have to have 8. These have to have 50, these have to have 6. So I'm going to write 6, 6. So 6 times 70 is going to go here. 6 times 8 is going to go here. So I've got 6 times 7 is 42. But I've got a 10. I've got 7 tens. So I have to go 42 times 10, which is 420. Then I do 6 times 8, which is 48. To double check my math to make sure I'm correct, I want to check if 6 times 7 is actually 42, if I got my math right. So to check 6 times 7, I'm going to make 6 groups. 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to put 7 inside. So I go 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7. So I put 5 and a 2 because I know it's really easy for me to count by 5s and by 2s instead of just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and making a bunch of little dots. So now I can count by 5s or 2s, because 5 plus 2 is 7. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42. So it does equal 42. I was correct. So I know 6 times 7 is 42, and I just checked it. Now, 6 times 8 is also really difficult for me. So I'm going to double check and make sure I was actually correct and that it does equal 48. I'm going to make 6 groups. 3, 4, 5, 6. And instead of putting a bunch of little dots, I know 8, I can break it down into 5 and then 6, 7. Because I just did 7 over here. So I've got 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to check and make sure I got 48. So I've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42. Oh, I could have just looked here and I had the same thing. 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. And it does equal 48, so I was correct. Now, I'm not done. I've done all this beautiful work, but now I need to figure out my answer. I still don't know what 78 times 56 is, even after all this work. So what I have to do is I have to add up my partial products. So a product is what a multiplication equation equals. So all of these are part of what my whole thing is going to equal. So now I have to add it all together. So I've got 3,500. I'm going to add it to 420, and I check these off as I go, so that way I'm keeping track. And then I didn't do 400 yet, so I'm going to add 400. And I didn't add 48 yet, so I'm going to add 48. Okay, with this, you always want to keep your place values lined up. Some students like to draw lines, so that way they keep track of what they're adding. But you don't need to do this if you feel like very confident about it. 0 plus 0 is 0. Plus 0 is 0. Plus 8 is 8. And then 0 plus 2 is 2. Plus 0 is 2. So I got 2 plus 4, and that equals 6. And then I have, I know 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So just to refresh that, 4 plus 4 is 8. So 8 plus 5 is, put 8 in your head and you count 5 more. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's your 3. Regroup your 1. Because you had 13 hundredths, and I have to regroup my hundreds that I had. So 1 plus 3 is 4, and I have 4,368. Alright, next I'm going to write it over here. 4,368. So that is how you use an area model to multiply a 2-digit number by a 2-digit number. In the next video, I'll show how to check your work and make sure you got it correct.